Yo, what is up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Let me know in the chat below. So as the title suggests, the Plini song is finished, and I did some work off stream last night, and I think it's in a good place, and I'm happy to show you guys, and you guys can be the judge, right? Um, Everyone that's on YouTube right now, if you want to join the chat, you guys can head over to Twitch. There's a comment pinned on the top of the comment box, so you can come join the chat. I can read your messages, and we can all hang out and have a good time. But yeah, man, what time is it? Where's everyone watching from right now? Right now it is 12:15 in Adelaide, 12:15 p.m. Sweet. So, without further ado, let's head into FL and see what we've done. Alabama. Nice, dude. Nice. What time is it? Okay. Let's head over to FL. So, again, the song's done. Well, at least I think so anyway. I added a couple of layers here and there, just so it felt a bit more lived in. I actually did it like not even 15 minutes ago. I quickly added some layers in. But, if we kind of... Oh, thank you for the follow, dude. Appreciate you. I'll give a quick breakdown of what all of these layers are because there's a lot, right? So, the first, actually, I'm going to name them as we go because I'm probably gonna forget. So this first one here, so all these little blue ones are like automation tracks. So we've got master bus volume up here. Then we have the drum MIDI, right? So that's the drum MIDI. We then have, as you can see by the name, we have room bus volume automation. So what I'm doing is like in certain sections, I'm turning up the room mics and I'm turning down the room mics in other sections. Basically, when it's like a soft section, I'll turn the room mics down. When it's a louder section, I'll turn the room mics up. Similar thing with the snare. So snare bus volume, volume automation. I can type, right? We then have like snare. I called it snare verb, but it's not really snare. It's not really just the snare. It's basically like whenever there's a quiet section and I feel like there's a lot of space between the drum parts, I added like another fader here. And I called it snare verb, but rooms and overheads are going to it too, where I'm pretty much just smashing it with very heavy reverb so that every snare hit kind of carries over to the next one, and you see what I mean as I play the track back, right? Again, synth volume automation. And what I like to do, this is like part of my workflow, it might be a bit weird, but I like to put the automation of everything around the MIDI. So like, for example, this is like the synth MIDI, right? But the volume automation is like above it. I might even just like add a little break there just so I know what it is. Sweet. What else we got going on? A quick breakdown if you insist. Insert Alpha Wolf or something. Lol. South Florida, 9:45 p.m. Okay, I'm hitting like the sweet spot of like going to bedtime, nighttime in the US. Again, YouTube guys, if you want to join the chat, there's a link pinned on the top of the chat, so you can click that, head over to Twitch, and I can read your guys' messages as well. I'm just simulcasting so you guys can see what we've been doing on Twitch for the past week. Okay, we have synth MIDI. What's this one here? This is synth MIDI again, right? I'll just call it breakdown synth MIDI. It's literally just 2 notes, right? You can see there's like 2 tiny little notes. We then have like, I'll call this bass stem because it's just like an export of the bass. Thank you for subbing, dude. Thank you for following. I appreciate you. Bass MIDI, clean bass MIDI, I should say. Clean bass MIDI. So I have 2 separate instances of Contact. And one of them is like clean bass, which is just like the Umansky on clean setting, and the other is like Genty bass, which is Umansky bass. Dialed in for a little bit of a gentier sound. Thank you for following, guys. Appreciate it, man. Okay, let's go back. So then we have the gent bass tone automation. So gent bass tone volume automation here, and then heavy bass MIDI. Heavy bass. The MIDI on the bass is very simple, so I haven't really dialed it in as much as I would like. Okay, then I've named all these. So short riser, breakdown riser, etc., etc., etc. Okay, this is a clean rhythm stem. So all the clean rhythm guitars are in this stem here, and then I have all their DIs and tones underneath and stuff like that. I'm just gonna call this like intro motif lead. All right. Okay, we then have rhythm guitar, heavy rhythm, I should say, heavy rhythm, volume, automation. So you can see it kind of gets louder as the song goes on. And then we have the heavy guitar volume. Actually, just heavy guitar, rhythm guitar stem, right? This is a lot for me as it is for you, because I'll forget what these are, right? And then I'll get confused. We then have the layer, rhythm layer stem, rhythm layer stem. So that's like octaves and stuff like that. What else we got here? That's fine. I can turn that off. Outro motif lead, that's already labeled. This, okay, so this, I called this like hectic layer. This is just very heavy reverb, very heavy pre-delay, just to kind of fill in the gaps. You see what I mean as I play that track back. This was like what I added in the last minute because I felt like it was lacking a bit. It just felt a bit amateurish, a bit empty, and I was kind of filling it in. Sup, what, 6? Thank you for following, man. Appreciate you. It's 3:49 a.m. here in the Netherlands, but I want to hear this track. Thank you, man. It's very late, dude. Wow. Okay. We then have... What do we have? Okay, so what's this? Okay, I'm going to... Outro motif lead... Volume automation. So outro motif lead volume. And I kind of haven't listened to this properly in like one go. So you guys are pretty much going to hear it for the first time as much as I am. I'll call this like verse transition lead. And then I've got high gain lead. That's high gain lead. High gain lead. Harmony 1, and then I'll copy that and do the same thing over here for number 2. Sweet. Okay, this one here is the clean lead, so we'll call this clean lead. There's a lot of different tones in this, man, and every single tone in this song is, again, using the Archetype Plini X plugin, because that was the whole point of this, right? And that's pretty much it. Sweet. Okay, so let's try play it from the start. Let me just double check that everything's on. So I've got everything's on my master bus, instrument bus is on. I'll turn these on quickly. I want to make sure that this runs without any hiccups. So what I'm going to do, that's why I stemmed out the bass and freezed it and stuff. So switch smart disable all plugins, close all windows. All right, are we ready to hear this song? Let me know in the chat. Are we ready to hear this song? I'm very excited because this is what we've been doing. Oh, dude, thank you for subbing, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, Deathberry987. I'll stick to using Archetype Malcolm X for black metal. Okay, let's go. We ready? I'm ready. I'm so ready. Okay. Again, YouTube guys, if you want to join the chat, there's a link pinned on top of the comment box where you can head over to Twitch and hang out with the rest of us. Let's do it. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't crash, right? Let me just double check. Okay, yeah, we got the buffer settings going. Okay, let's do it. I'm ready. What do we think? Do we think that's a finished song? I hope so, right? Because otherwise there'll be more stuff to do. But yeah, that's the song. That's what it ended up being. What was originally going to be like a minute long, not even like just a little demo riff for the plugin, ended up being a full 4-minute song. Thank you for saying that, dude. I appreciate you. Is this a finished song? Should I play this live? Yo, Eli, what's going on, man? Good to see ya. What are you doing on, what day is it today? Wednesday? Tuesday. Fuck, I don't even know what day it is, man. All the YouTube guys, thank you for joining in on the stream. I'm just showing you what we've been doing on Twitch for the past week. Again, if you want to join the conversation, feel free to head over to the Twitch with the comment that's pinned on top of the comment box. And you guys can head over there and hang out with the rest of us. This is what we've been doing on Twitch for the past week. And this is what it's amounted to. So I guess what I could do, thank you, man. Thank you, Moby Duck. That's funny. I don't know, but it reminds me a little bit of my track White. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I definitely have this like writing style going on where I just have these big endings all the time because it's something that I really like doing, like all this stuff. One thing I want to highlight is the, like, I guess the transition from the breakdown to the rest of the song. About here. I'm a bit iffy about it, but it goes into that metric modulation thing, into that little fill. And it kind of has that like that little stop, like da da. And then that's kind of like calling back to what it did earlier in the breakdown, which if I can find it is right here. And again, like just a little tip, like I've volume automated like the really synthy layer of guitar to just completely just cut itself off. So all you hear is the rhythms in this little right there. And then if I really wanted to be anal about it, I would like stop the drums as well. You know what? Let's just see what that sounds like, right? Let's do that. Let's add another automation track in so I can show you exactly what I mean by that. Thank you for following, DK man. Oh dude, thank you for saying that, man. Appreciate it. Okay, let's add in some drum volume automation. So good thing I have this like this drum sum fader, right? That's just like constantly on 100%. So I can create that, cool. And what I'll do is I'm going to find that exact spot. Where is it? Where everything ducks. Right here. Right? So this line, I'm a professional engineer. That can go down there. That can go down there. And then it starts again here. So just to give an idea of like how harsh you can make that stop sound, this is what it would sound like with the drums as well. I kind of like that better, actually. That's much more exaggerated. Let's do that. Adding some sort of like adding more impact when it comes back in would be mint as well. So like here, if I expand this up a little bit, where's the transient? There it is, right? So let's put that there, and then, oh yeah, that should be fine, right? So again, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like without some layers in there and stuff, like if I was to turn this layer off here, was it hectic layer? If I was to turn that off, this section would seem a lot emptier. So like, for example, if I start from the beginning of the breakdown, which is here. If I was to put this track on, and then put it with the rest of everything else, it makes that section seem like a lot bigger, right? Yeah, I'm so happy we took the drums out there. Eli, the tuning on that section is C sharp, double C sharp, I think, because I'm in A flat, and then I go down seven or five. No, I think it's 5 semitones. I can't even remember. It's very low, but again, the point of this whole song is to showcase the Plini X plugin. Every single guitar tone that you hear, whether it's like that really heavy, disgusting breakdown tone, or like the cleanest of cleans, or the layers, or the chorusy sounding cleans, like it's literally this plugin. There's no external IRs. There's no other trickery going on. It's literally just coming straight from this plugin and this plugin alone. And it's cool, man. I loved the Plini plugin before. I love it even more now. It's one of my favorite plugins from Neural, and it really goes to show how versatile it is. You're right, dude. So I guess we can talk about some songwriting stuff to see how this all formed together, and like how I kind of made it feel like a song in my own mind, right? Because that's something that is a little bit annoying to do, especially as like an instrumental artist, where like you don't have vocals to carry that like vocal light quality or that kind of melodic sensibility, right? So we need to figure out ways on how to do that in instrumental music. Again, sorry for the Twitch guys that I keep saying this, but if you're watching this on YouTube right now and you want to be part of the conversation, there's a link pinned on the top of the comment box, so you can head over to Twitch and I can see your guys' comments and we can hang out and stuff. And this is what we've been doing on Twitch for the past week. So yeah. Okay, so songwriting stuff, right? So we start with this 15-16 groove, and like when I was playing it on my guitar, like trying to come up with it, it's not like I was clocking the fact that it was 15-16. It was very much like this pattern of like dun 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 dun. And now if we play that back, and I think that is a good example of making odd time signatures not feel like they're odd time signatures. Like the last thing that I would want is someone to listen to that and be like, oh yeah, that's in 15-16, or like feel like it's weird. A good example of something like this is Plini's song Electric Sunrise, where at the very beginning it's in something dumb. It's like 21-8 or something stupid, right? But you don't feel that way because there's a very clear pattern and it's very easy to grasp. And that's something that I wanted to kind of convey with this section here. Even when the drums come in, like I was very meticulous of like how that drum part was played, and I was trying my best to make it feel like it wasn't a part in 15-16. It was very much just like you could bob your head to it after a couple of listens. You know what I mean? Right, and then when it hits this last note here, we enter a 4/4 to go back into that just like normal groove. And then we can kind of go into our 4/4 groove, right? Thank you, Preston. This bass is Umansky bass, both on clean and heavies, right? FL Studio for metal, yeah, man, 100%. So let's, what else was there? Added some synth to kind of like reinforce that section a little bit. This little lead here, like that little bit there is, I guess, like the motif lead of this song, but in halftime. So, and then it repeats after one lot of or like a couple lots of 15-16. So yeah, essentially like it's kind of like foreshadowing what the rest of the song is going to sound like very subliminally, that like this is the melodic motif in halftime. Whether you realize that or not when you're listening to it doesn't matter, because at the end it should all come together. And it pops up a couple more times here and there. What else is happening? Is that the intro explained? Yeah, I've got clean bass going on, just playing the root notes, very simple. And then, okay, so moving on to this 4/4 section. So that little groove there, like dan da dan da dan da dan, I'm not even joking. I reckon I've had that for like 5-6 years, and I haven't figured out what to do with it yet. And I thought, what better? Like it's so old at this point that I was like, fuck it, I'll just put in this song, right? And there's two variations of it. One that's like, they're both in 4/4, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it kind of like goes into that offbeat. But then there's another version that's a little bit easier to understand, and not as jarring to listen to, which was like and then I was like, nah, let's do the slightly weird one, because it's like, this is a Plini demo song after all, right? And like, even though it's in 4/4, I want it to feel a little bit weird. So that's what I ended up going with. I've got some like post-production impact sound effects here to tie it in. And then I've got this like rhythm layer track, right? Which if I solo, if I can fucking find it, where is it? Here. And then so again, that's just octaves double tracked between the D and B string. But again, instead of it just being like just chords, it kind of adds melody behind those chords, and it very much follows the rest of the vibe of the song. Very melancholic in nature. And then this was added literally like half an hour before stream. If I can find it, hectic layer, right? And I guess it's like a very high octave or whatever is happening on those like octave guitars that I just showed. And this does a lot to fill out the space, because when it went straight into this heavy section prior to adding that in, it seemed very amateurish. And I was like, like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I add like a lead? And then that just seemed a bit out of place, and I really didn't know what to do. I just want to show you guys what that section sounds like going from this clean section with and without that simple little layer there, because it's huge. It's a huge difference. Thank you for tipping, man. Appreciate you. I have my own version of that groove. I've had a while too. It's like da, 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 da. Yeah, it's funny when you put it in text, right? Okay, so without, let's do without first. So without this layer, going into it, it seems very empty. I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe I'm very anal about it, but after adding this very subtle layer in, it just, I don't know, it just closes all those little gaps. Especially, I guess what was bugging me was like the contrast between that section before it, which was like very, flowy, took up a lot of the frequency spectrum. There was like low rumbling bass, there was synths like carrying over from note to note. It was very filled in, which is when you went into this next bit, it was more dynamic in the sense that it was like dun, 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 but it felt very empty because there was nothing like underneath supporting it, which is why adding this little layer to kind of fill it all out eased my mind a little bit, and this is what it ended up sounding like. So you can tell it's like very, very subtle, but it does a lot for the song, I think, right? And again, that's just following like an octave higher, more or less kind of the same notes of that that rhythm layer. And then we get into this transition between this heavy section and this light section. So what I've done is I've faded out the bass, I've faded out the heavy rhythm guitars, I faded out that like weird layery sound. So, but I've also like faded in the clean lead, and I'm basically cross fading between the heavy gain sections and the clean rhythm guitar, so that you kind of get this nice swell. And I don't know, like I did spend a bit of time making sure that it sounded right in my ears, because it's very hard to kind of cross over those differences of dynamic without sounding a little bit jarring. But and like making sure that those volumes across those two like very different sections are the same. And just going over quickly, as we go into this cleanest section, I've turned down the snare bus so you don't get as much like clicky snare sound, like it's not as transienty. I've put that snare verb track on, that's like just heavy reverb on snare rooms and overheads. I turned down the room bus slightly, so you don't get that kind of like that flat wet wall slap back from a room. What else we got going? So we've got some clean rhythms, we have the clean lead, and then we have this like little pluck track. This is something that I put in a lot in my song White. If I play it, I called it verse plucks here. Ignore the bass for a moment. And then it plays these little plucks in the background. Very, very subtle, but again, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's almost acting like a synth, where it's just like kind of providing like some sort of melodic foundation to the rest of it. It adds a little bit of texture. I was very dynamic in how I picked that, like, and I guess like those little changes in pattern, you know, kind of add to it a little bit. Eli, catch you later, my man. Thank you for stopping by. So there's that. And then as this section swells in, right, this is what it ends up sounding like. We have that clean lead over it, over here. Yo, Chris, thank you, dude. Thank you for joining. And then we head into this transition section, going from verse to chorus, I suppose, which I opted to stop the drums and add some very kind of like little ride bell chings and stuff like that. Then there's like a tom build up over here. I went very heavy on the synth because like a lot of those guitar layers fall out, so in order for it not to feel like a big volume loss, I kind of reinforced that with more synth as the chords are more layered, which you can see over here. And I made the melody of the synth follow the melody of the guitar, which if I solo out, you hear that straight away. So, and then like that. If I turn everything back on and play that back. Right. Again, another thing of this transition section is that we have also added this track here, which is like 3 notes over each other. I called it transition verse to chorus. Again, very subtle, a little bit of reverb, ties it all together. And yeah, it's just all these little layers working together so that when we play it all back, take care, dude. Thank you for stopping by. and then we and then we head into the chorus, right? And okay, the chorus very rhythmically is like, what am I trying to say? It's kind of the same rhythm as that dun, 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 dun. I was very conscious of how I wanted to start. Originally, that was going to be the chorus, but I was like, nah, that sounds a little bit weird. It actually sounds better as like a post-chorus, as like a second half of a chorus or something, like coming out of a chorus. Which is why this first section here, I kind of wanted to have the same vibe, like dun 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 dun. Like I didn't want it to deviate too much from that, so that when it does finally hit that section, it seems like it's, you know, perfect, right? Again, snare verb comes off, snare goes back up, rooms go back up for this bigger section. Again, that layer, everything. We've got the leads with some harmonies over here. And this is what it sounds like going from that section to that section. Oh. Nice little build up, and then going back into that rhythm motif. With that melodic motif in the background that was alluded to at the beginning. Drum build up, dead space, and then breakdown. Metric modulation, stop, back into the groove. Metric modulation again, and then drum fill back into the groove. Build up section, 4 on the floor. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. And then this very like slow, vibey break. And then we go back into this 15, 16 groove with different chords from the beginning. So you get the vibe, right? That is essentially like all the things that I'm thinking about while I'm trying to make this piece together to sound like an actual song. So it's all of these little things of like rhythmic motifs, the same patterns. The melody is very much the same, even though it sounds different across sections, like especially towards the end here, where again, you can see this is literally just copy pasted, but in this context, it sounds a lot different. Yeah, that somehow ended up being like fucking 4 minutes or whatever, which is silly, right? But yeah, do you guys have any questions? Let me know in the chat about the song, about the mixing. We can go over literally anything. I've got the project up. So how low is the breakdown? Okay, so the breakdown goes, I think, down to C sharp because I'm in A flat. So this song was played and recorded on my Jackson Dinky Sparkle 7-string Evertune, which is tuned to A flat. So -5 from that would be G, F sharp, F, E, actually no, it's 7 below that. So D sharp, D, and then C sharp. C sharp. So it's -7 semitones lower than the rest of the song. And that's what it ends up being in, right? Very stupid and very, very low. If, again, YouTube guys, if you're watching this stream and you want to be part of the chat and you want to, join us for more of this stuff, we've been doing this for the past week. There's a comment pinned on top of the YouTube chat, so you can head over to Twitch. And every time I do one of these and write the song in front of you and all that stuff, you guys can see and you can hang out and chat and all that stuff. Thank you, man. Thank you, Wesley. I am happy with how this turned out. I honestly had no idea how it was going to turn out. And I'm glad that I finally put this like rhythmic idea that I've had for ages into a song, because I never knew how I was going to do it, because I always had that one riff and I just never knew how to like bring it back and stuff like that. Whether this is ready to play live, I don't know. You guys can be the judge of that. You can let me know in the chat. But I don't know if like, is this ready to be put into like Spotify or something? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm sure Stephen would love to play that breakdown live with all that metric modulation. Oh, dude, he'd be frothing. It's very Tesseract, I think, that section, and that's his favorite band. So, yeah, I think he'd love it. I think he'd love it a lot. What else are you guys saying? Very sick though. Sounds great. Thank you, man. Thank you. I really want jugs, but I think my budget says Seymour Duncan. Jugs are great. I put them in all my guitars. I've tried so many, like Ragnarok Polymath, Impulses, what else? Unities, Silos, but I always go back to the jugs, man. Always, every single time. My approach to metric modulation, how do I decide when to use it? Honestly, man, if I just go, oh yeah, this is a cool section, I might just fuck it up a little bit. That's literally all I think about. I guess like my reasoning for putting it in that section was because the breakdowns start to sound, I'm always very conscious of like trying to keep things interesting while also keeping some sort of repetition. Like for example, like if you guys were watching the stream when we were writing that breakdown, which I'm sure some of you in the chat were, comparing that to what it is now, it almost sounds like a completely different part, even though the guitars are literally the exact same. Everything from programming in the drums properly, to adding that little break, to adding in the little fills and the metric modulation, like it makes this part sound a lot more than it actually is. At the end of the day, it's a very simple breakdown, just with some weird patterns that you need to remember. But I guess, again, my approach for the metric modulation in that part was to keep it interesting to the listener without deviating too much from that sense of familiarity, which if you've had a lesson with me in the past and we've gone through songwriting stuff, that is something that I hark on about all the time, because I think having a sense of repetition and familiarity and all that stuff creates a sense of resolution and completedness within the listener. And that's something that I try to do in all of my tracks across all the little bits. And I'm sure that as I've gone through it, you can definitely hear and see what I'm talking about. Plini hears this once and I guarantee you're getting a support act spot on his next tour. I actually sent it to him last night. I was like, dude, here's the song. Let me know if it's up to scratch. He's like, it's fine. I trust you. I hope it's good though. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even fucking know anymore, because this is all I've been listening to for the past week. And my gauge is completely off, but hopefully he likes it. Right. I still got to edit the video for YouTube and all that stuff. Does using alternate tunings change the way I think about theory when writing songs? I don't think about theory when I'm writing songs because I don't know theory. But I guess like my chord progressions and all those stuff I'm trying to go towards, like I think about it the same way, whether I'm in an open tuning, drop tuning, standard tuning, it doesn't really matter. Do I typically have my stuff mastered by someone else before heading to Spotify or elsewhere? No. This is like, honestly, what you're hearing now, I'll probably put on Spotify. Between like Golf Floss and Virtual Tape and Ozone, Ozone does so much. Let me turn Ozone on and off quickly on a big section so you guys can hear it, right? It really does feel like I'm cheating. And I love like the auto mastering chain thing that happens in Ozone, because it just makes my tracks sound better and like I don't need to do anything. But I turn off the maximizer now, and I've been using Flatline 2, which just came out the other day. This is awesome, man. This is like wow, I can't stress on about how good Flatline 2 is. Like, it's got the clip and the limit, but it's got that hybrid mode is where the money is, man. Combines the clip and limit for ideal mastering performance. That's exactly what it does. You clip the heaviest things, but then it limits everything else. And it just sounds so good. It sounds so good. So that's like in place of my maximizer. I know I keep harking on about Flatline and submission stuff, like I'm not an affiliate and I don't have affiliate links, and you guys can't get the affiliate links right now and help me out. But like, genuinely, like, I don't use all the plugins you see right now is what I use on a daily basis. Like, and I use submission stuff everywhere, whether it's bass, whether it's like double tap on the bass, like I have double tap here. Their stuff is awesome. So if you are thinking about picking some of that stuff up, I do have affiliate links. They'll be in the description of my YouTube videos and all that stuff. And if you're watching live on YouTube now, it'll be in the description of there. And again, if you're on YouTube, head over to the Twitch. Link is pinned on the top of the chat. And you can come hang out and chat and all that stuff. Someone in the YouTube chat says, "What's up, Kian? How I found you is because of Animals as leaders. Grading EP is badass." Thank you, man. That's awesome. I'm so happy to see that guys who went to that tour and went to those shows are, converting, you know what I mean? In music business speak. But yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out. I'm seeing Plini in November and I will show him this if he allows fan meetups. That'd be funny, dude. You should definitely do that. He'd be like, fuck, even someone else is bothering Kian on his behalf, bothering me via Kian on his behalf. We have this running joke that I'm always bothering him because I am. Drum library for this. Also, how do I make a mix sound fuller? It's a very loaded question. The drum library one is just the P5 kit, and it's the P5 kit on turbo mode. So like the only other extra plugins that I'm adding is I've just added like a gate on the kick and a gate on the snare just to get rid of the noise floor. And that's it. And there's plugins on the room, but it's literally just like a gain meter because I didn't want to like redo all the automation. So I just turned it down 1 dB across the board. That's it. The rest of it is coming straight out of essentially the whole drum mix is coming out of the P5 kit on turbo mode, which is fucking crazy. Yeah, insane. What else are you guys saying, man? Do I have Ozone Advanced? I've never tried anything beyond Elements. I'm on like whatever the subscription model is, so I think it is advanced. Yeah, it is. It's Ozone Advanced. Ozone 11 has a bunch of cool stuff in there. I should have just fucking bought Ozone outright instead of getting the subscription, because if I had just paid that from the start, I would have had. I don't use any of the other stuff. Have I tried extended range open tunings like GF, AC, GCE? I have tried, like, I know Monuments does that stuff a lot where they have like the top of the guitar and like standard tuning of like what a normal guitar would be tuned to in drop. And then like the bottom strings, like the bottom 3 strings are, I guess, like in a dadgad thing, where it's in relation to the key of like whatever they're playing on the top string. And it sounds awesome. Makes it very easy to play big chords because you can just like fret up the top and then like put your finger through all the strings and it sounds great. Song sounds excellent. Awesome work as always. Yo, what's going on, dude? Thank you for joining the Twitch chat, man. It's been a while. What's been happening? Any chance on trying a Barcy guitars? Funny, like even on the tour, like I didn't even get a chance to play one because of how hectic the schedule was. But from what I saw, and when Petrol, their tech, and Petrol is also North Lane's tech, he does tech for a lot of bands, their guitar tech. When he was setting him up, I was like, yeah, man, these are fucking nice. You know what I mean? I wonder how they play. I'm sure they play absolutely amazing. How did I mix the bass in this song? Good question. So we have 2 bass tones. We have like a gent tone and like a clean tone. The clean tone, I was like, I didn't even care, right? I just used the clean tone that was coming out of Umansky bass, put some double tap on it, put some very light EQ on it. That was it. I didn't really touch anything else for that. The heavy tone though, I put through parallax. I did some EQ stuff, taking out whistly frequencies, low high cut, scooping out some low mids, boosting that kind of 900 range, soothe to get some of the resonances, lifting up the high end of the bass, with Virtual Mix Rack, again, Double Tap, absolutely phenomenal bass compression plugin, which again, if you want to grab, I do have affiliate links for that stuff. And then I just added a limiter just to brick wall it a little bit so it doesn't get too out of whack. But that's it. That's pretty much all of it. Motifs, then chord progression, or vice versa, typically for my process? Good question. I think it's none of them. I think it's like mostly I just have a riff and then whatever else follows. Like, if the motif is within the riff, I'll use that. If I need to write it on top of the riff, I'll use that. Like, chord progression is always the first thing I think when I'm writing different sections. Thank you for following, Bimbid. Appreciate you, man. Yo, YouTube chat, what's going on? Okay. Do I plan to tour Oz again? Yeah, eventually sometime next year. It'll probably be like supporting some other band, whoever that is in the end. But yeah, there'll be plans. And you know what? Maybe you get to see this song played live, right? Not sure, but we'll see how it goes. Playing it live is a completely different process because I got to then make sure all of these stems and stuff are like, and all the sound effects and in the backing tracks and stuff are like, you know, ready to be used live and all that stuff, which takes a little bit of time. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get that. Tesseract support act. I'm going to say that 3 times fast. Tesseract support act would go wild. We'd love that too, man. That'd be really sick. I'm a huge fan of those guys. Steven, my drummer, is a huge Tesseract fan, man. Wow. He would not have started playing drums that way if it wasn't for Tesseract. He's a huge fan of Jay. Yeah, man, I love Tesseract a lot. That would be really cool. And to play those rooms again, it'd be like similar vibe to the rooms that we did on that Animals run. So, yeah, it'd be really cool and really fun to play rooms that big. And I think like it'd be the perfect crowd to play in front of, right? Again, the thing is like when bigger bands like that come, there's a lot of like processes that need to be made in order to kind of like have a support act be selected. Sometimes it happens like months in advance. Sometimes it happens literally the week of, like it did with Animals. So either way, you know, we'll be ready. Will I stream more? I really like it. Yeah, I do like streaming, dude. I don't know. What should I stream? Like, this song's done now, right? I'm sure I can stream me recording other songs, but what do you guys want to see? Let me know. Flick a message in the chat of what you'd like to see me stream. Whether it's mixing, whether it's recording, whether it's fucking playing games or whatever. Generally, like this time, I usually have like a bunch of guitar lessons in the morning, which Pazzawazzle knows all about, right? Yo, Swanee, legend. Thank you, dude. Yeah, so I usually have like lessons in the morning up until lunchtime or like, you know, a little bit into the afternoon. Which again, if you guys want to have private lessons about guitar or mixing or whatever, production, I can do this one-on-one with you. Flick me a message on Instagram. But usually around this time, I'm free. So, you know, if the house is quiet or whatever and like there's no fucking construction going on, I'd be happy to stream. But let me know what you guys want to see, man. Let me know in the chat of what you guys want to see me streaming with. Still holding out for the eventual NYC show. Dude, one day, man. One day. Maybe when you tell your country to not make visas like $10,000, that'd be brilliant, right? It'd still be hard, but it'd be easier. Noodling, doing riffs, learning songs would be cool. Learning songs, I have thought about that one actually. Like, we pick a song and we try to learn it together. That'd be awesome because I don't get the chance to do that anymore. So like I don't have as much time as I would like to just sit down and learn songs. But I think this would be a good opportunity to do that. Like the last songs that I learned, I think like generally like the last riff I remember learning is actually no, if I'm being really picky about it, it was Shade Astray, like the chorus riff, because there's a little Instagram reel coming out that's a collaboration between me and Trey from Invent, which is just for this chat to know, right? But yeah, he's recording his section and then I'll stitch the video together and we'll do like a little joint collab post. Fucking love Trey, dude. Such a cool guy. And he was so down to do it. He sent me the stems and everything. So I'm keen to get that one out. Lessons are a bargain. Couldn't recommend it more. Thank you, man. Thank you. Songwriting wise, how do I go about building and finishing songs rather than creating a bunch of loops or ideas? So I kind of went through that before. But essentially it's like having an idea and then figuring out ways to kind of repeat that idea as many times as I can throughout a song without it being really obvious, whether that be rhythmically, melodically, structurally. I want the song to feel like it's living in its own universe. And if you were watching the stream, if to anyone in this chat who was watching the stream, when I kind of break that down section by section, yeah, that it should make sense, right? Okay, what else we got here? Do I normally export my mix to master, or do I master in the original project? If it's like this, I just master it all to an original project, from the original project, I mean, because it's all in the one thing. Again, YouTube guys, to everyone who's watching in YouTube right now, if you want to join the conversation, definitely head over to Twitch. The comment is it's pinned in the comment box, the top of the comment box, so you guys can head over to Twitch and join the chat and hang out. Who was good live? Ruckus? Saw them with Error and Bad Omens. Great show. Who are we talking about right now? I completely forgot. Is that Invent Animate? Did they play a show with Error and Bad Omens? Wow. What a lineup. Invent are sick. Keaton's chiller. They're all chillers, actually. Would be just having fun with my guitars, man. It would be nice to watch. Yeah. I don't know. I'm very much a guy of like, I want an end goal to a stream. Like the end goal of this stream was to show you guys what's going on. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll definitely get some lessons when I finish uni. Dude, how much longer you got until uni's finished, man? Fuck uni, dude. I'm so glad I finished my course. It was amazing. Bad Omens headliner tour. Yeah, man, that would have been cool. Bad Omens is huge. Hey, I forget how big Bad Omens are. They are a massive band, man. I don't really listen to them that much. Like, it might pop up excuse me, it might pop up on Spotify every now and then, but like, it's not like they're a part of my rotation. Like, I don't listen to them frequently, but man, like, they've gone that extra level. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've done a Sleep Token where it's not just us listening to it anymore. It's like, it's borderline normie at the moment, which is huge because, you know, a tide should lift all boats. Like, a band like that getting mainstream, it's exactly what, you know, smaller bands need, man. If I don't fail this subject, I should finish up halfway through the year. Nice. Next year. What is my heavy rotation tunes? Ben, thank you for hanging out again, man. Let's have a look. Let's have a look on my phone to see what my rotation is. I'm so bad. I don't have playlists or anything. Like, I listen to something and then like on the homepage of Spotify, like whatever that is, like I just hit that and listen to something because it's probably what I want to listen to, right? So I'll go on like my daily mixes and see what bands pop up. Daily mix 4, I've got Polaris, Thornhill, Throne, Wage War, Invent Anime, Ocean's 8 Alaska, Thornhill again, Spirit Box, Counterparts, Gloom in the Corner, Thornhill again, Polaris, Currents, Alpha Wolf, Silent Planet. You get the idea, right? Daily mix 2, so this is like a little bit more of a priority. Oh, dude, thank you for subbing, man. Appreciate you. Okay. Daily mix 2 is what you'd expect, like Intervals, Plini, I Built the Sky, Animals, Haunted Shores, Chon, The Contortionist, Polyphia, Plini again, Bulb, Chon, Plini again, Haunted Shores, Plini again, Intervals again, Animals. You get the idea, right? Like a lot of like that instrumental guitar. My daily mix 3 is like very Midwesty, like Movements, Hot Mulligan, bit of pop punk in there, yours truly. Holding Absence, Mum Jeans, Microwave, No Pressure, Movement, Story So Far, Belmont. I'm in the mood to listen to this. I might listen to this after the stream. Where's my daily mix 1? Okay, daily mix 1. Tesseract, Meshuggah, Periphery, Vectors, Volumes, Throne, Jakub Shatetsky, who's a freak. Absolutely love him. Invent, Unprocessed, Silent Planet, Polaris again. Daily mix 1 and 4 are very similar. I don't know what happens there. Appreciate the stream and all the golden nuggies on YouTube. Super pumped to catch you. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. What else we got? Dude, Microwave are probably my favorite band. Love them so much. Yeah, I saw them when they were supporting Mum Jeans. That was a really cool show, man. For all the Adelaide guys watching, it was at Jive, packed out room. Seeing Mum Jeans play, what's that song? Someone help me out. I don't want to have to look it up. If someone can get it before I look it up, the Mum Jeans song, the one. Is it Death Cup? No, Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus My GPA. When bro got out the trombone in the first song to play that little like motif, wow. I've never seen a room like that before. That was crazy, man. I still remember it very, very clearly. That was awesome. Do I listen to David Max and Mitchell at all? Sometimes, like when it pops up, I won't skip it. You know what I mean? Do I like Vujada? Love Vujada. I love Humanity's Last Breath a little more, but I've said this before on stream, like stuff like that where it's like so extreme. It's very hard for me to listen to a lot, like consecutively. Like, yeah, whatever, I'll get 2 or 3 songs, but then after, like when it hits that 4th, 5th song, I'm like, man, this is like a lot. Like I need a break. In little bits and pieces, I fucking adore it. I think it's awesome because I'm just like absolutely blown away by the production and how it was actually made. But when it gets like 5 songs in, I just like, I don't know, my brain just turns to mush. I don't even know what I'm listening to anymore. You know what I mean? As far as like, and Daily Mix 5, for anyone that's wondering. Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Foo Fighters, Linkin Park, 30 Seconds to Mars, Paramore, Blink, Queens of the Stone Age, Red Hot Chili Peppers, AFI, Sum 41, that vibe, right? That's very, very reminiscent of the stuff I used to listen to when I was a kid. But, yeah. That's how I feel about people like myself and Plini. Can only take small doses. I understand, man, and that's the thing, like, you know, everyone's different, everyone's like subjective, everyone has their own music taste. Like I'm like that as well with hardcore stuff. Like there's only so many 3-2-1 chromatic riffs that I can listen to back to front before it all starts to sound the same. But I can appreciate it in small doses, right? Especially like Kublai Khan. Love actually, you know what, Kublai Khan kind of I'll do a little bit more because I can listen to a bit of Kublai Khan back to front. But any other like hardcore band, I struggle to kind of listen to like an album back to front. But you know, if Swan Song or Theory of Mind or The Hammer or whatever come on by Kublai back to front, I'll listen to that because that shit slaps, right? Did I ever listen to Cold State? No, I haven't listened to Cold State. I'm obsessed with Knock Loose at the moment. Yeah, see, Knock Loose again is another one of those bands where it's like I can appreciate it and I like listening to it, but only in small doses, right? Prog is all day. Yeah, I could listen to prog all day. I'm not gonna lie. That's my vice. You know what I mean? Did I see Movements and Boston Manor? Yes, I did. I was at that show. I loved that show. I'm so glad that they played a lot of old stuff on that show because I was a bit worried that they wouldn't. They did play a couple new songs which I enjoy, but man, I just wanted them to play. Honestly, if they got up there and played Feel Something back to front, like I would have been like, yes, like Life Complete, that would have been sick. But they played about 6 songs from Feel Something, so you know what? That's enough. You know what I mean? No, I love Movements though. I thrash that album back to front all the time. Movements Closer with Suffer Through made me freak the fuck out. Yeah, I wish they not that Daylilies an ender, but I think they should have done it on maybe The Grey. That would have been a nice ender because that song's such a good like ending song. I'm very meticulous of how bands start and finish sets. Like sometimes I'm very, I don't know, like, you know, when you see a band play live and you're like, oh, like they play, sometimes they play their most popular song first and you're like, oh, okay, that's a bit based, like play your most popular song first and then like, you know, see how the rest of the show goes. It's kind of cheap. Like it's good in a way because it gets people really excited, but then kind of isolates people in a way because, you know, sometimes like you want it to have that high point of listening to that most popular song that everyone knows and loves at the end. And then, you know, you leave thinking, wow, that was an amazing show. But sometimes when you start with it, like, yes, it gets people excited, but as it gets towards the end of the set, you kind of lose that feeling. People, especially these days, man, with like attention spans and stuff, like people are very very, very quick to forget. You know what I mean? Like you've almost forgotten what the beginning of the set was like by the end of it. So yeah, I'm very meticulous with how I set out my set. And if you've watched our set before and I explained it to you, hopefully it makes sense. Like we start with arrhythmia, like just straight out the gate. We go into it like the way we play live and the way we set up the set is like we're kind of appeasing to the people that have never heard of us or never seen us before, which I think is the way to do it. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing live, like yes, the people that are there to watch you will be happy with pretty much whatever you do, right? So it's more about like grabbing the people who haven't heard of you before. So when we think about it that way, and I think about how the set flows that way, like we start with arrhythmia, which is just like, you know, it has the slow walkout, the clean intro, and then it's just bang straight into it, like doesn't stop at all for the next 3 minutes, like very heavy breakdown at the end to hopefully like G people of what to expect. And then you go into another heavy song. I think depending on how long the set list is, I think we go into Pulse. And then as the set goes on for us, like we don't want to have like this thing where it starts really heavy and then kind of goes down and then just slowly gets more and more and then it goes heavy again at the end. Because by the time it gets back to the end, you know, people are already bored. So we like sprinkling bits of heavy throughout the set. So like we got arrhythmia and then like Black is like right in the middle of the set. And then we now have like another song that's a little bit heavier that goes towards the end of the set. And then Grey, I guess, is a little bit heavy and that goes at the very end. And then in between it are like the quiet songs that, you know, again, if you are watching us to watch us, you already know what to expect. If you are watching us and you have no idea what's going on, then at least it gives you that kind of hot and cold thing. So it kind of seems like a roller coaster and not so much just like a flat ride the entire time. Am I planning on getting an Aristides for the multi-scale Evertune? Maybe I need to take out a bank loan first. No, in all seriousness, like if someone from Aristides is watching and they want me to review one, I would happily do it and send it back. But I can't afford that, man. That's very expensive. Am I interested in doing projects or songs with vocals too? Absolutely. I actually have a song right now that's like ready to have vocals be put on it. Again, I'm just waiting, right? There'll be more original stuff released next year. And I think now that this song is finally done, maybe on stream we can go look at those other ones as I'm writing them. And you can kind of see what's going on in my head as I'm writing those songs. But yeah, I reckon this is a good place to end the stream. I know it was only like an hour and 10, very short one. But all right, before we end the stream, let's listen to the song one more time. And then from there, we can head on out. Just to kind of recap what the point of this stream was. So, again, I'm going to kind of go through everything again. The point of this stream... Oh, thank you for following, dude. And again, anyone that's watching on YouTube right now, if you want to join the conversation, there's a link pinned on the top of the comment box where you can head over to Twitch and join us on there. But again, the whole point of this stream was to showcase the song that we've been writing for basically the past week using only the Archetype Plini X plugin. All the guitar tones that you hear are from Archetype Plini X. Plini sent me some presets and asked me to make a song, and it's in collaboration with Neural, etc., etc. There will be a video on it. And after a week of fucking trying to figure out what to do, we finally got there, and this is what the song sounds like. So thank you guys so much for chilling. Thank you so much for hanging out. And again, if you want to see more of this stuff, head over to Twitch. If you're not following already, if you're watching and not following, be sure to follow so you don't miss more of this stuff. Watching the writing would be super rad. I love watching Nick Brunthal go through the process on this. Yeah, we went through the writing like throughout the past week. So I was writing this on stream. Again, if you want to catch more of that, you're subbed already, so you know. But if anyone else wants to catch that, feel free to follow and you won't miss it every time I do it. But yeah, let's close out. Let's fall out. Soldiers fall out. Let's play this song and then we'll end the stream. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thank you guys so much for catching the stream. I'll catch you later. Peace.